Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever, whenever you are. 5th of August, 2025, just a little bit after 4 p.m. on the eastern coast of north of these United States, North America. Anyways, let's get right to it. Steve Bannon slams Trump. I don't know, is this the first time he's done that? I could be honest, I've never seen him do that before, calling him Israel first. Well, at least he picked up on what everyone else was already saying. So maybe he figured out he better jump on the bandwagon. After Trump released a memo saying states would lose federal funding if they boycott Israel. This was later deleted from the document. As RT reports on here, Trump and admin scraps, quote, support Israel or lose funding measure. Docs shared by Charlie Kirk show the anti-BDS paragraph gone, but states will have to drop anti-white DEI programs to access 1.9 billion. Denmark Zoo, perfect article, Clown Planet. Denmark Zoo asked people to donate unwanted pests as food for its predators. Alberg Zoo explains that if people have animals that need to be removed for various reasons, they can bring a maximum of 4 small pieces at once. The animals are enthused by trained staff. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The animals are euthanized by trained staff and then used as food. I was thinking the animals that are getting it are enthused, as they probably would be. And they put an unusual appeal on Facebook and its website. It takes smaller live animals such as chickens, rabbits, and guinea pigs, which are an important part of the diet of our predators, especially the European lynx, which needs whole prey that resembles what it would naturally hunt in the wild. See, various reasons. So they don't want you to bring your dog or cat. At least they, at least they have a little thing on it. We need some gerbils. Literally fake news. Acosta eviscerated for interviewing an AI school shooting victim. Jim Acosta, the former CNN hack, who President Trump notoriously said, "You are fake news," said at the White House, is now literally living up to description after he put up an interview with an AI-generated avatar of a deceased Parkland shooting victim as a way of pushing gun control. Wow. Colin Reagan brings it out. Acosta, I would like to know what your situation would be for gun violence. Al Joaquim Olivar. Oh, there's the link for the X account. Great question. I believe a mix of stronger gun control laws, mental health support, and community engagement. See, we need to create safe space and blah, blah, blah. Because I think it's a great idea, Joaquin. Al Oliver was created by Oliver's parents so their AI son could deliver a powerful message on gun violence. Mexico, we talked about this last week as a possibility. Mexico finally, Mexico makes biometric identifier mandatory for all citizens. It includes personal biometric data such as photograph and QR code with fingerprint and iris information. UBS reacts to Palantir earnings, quote, no cracks in the story. This is the only beginning of something much larger and we believe even more significant. Palantir Tech CEO Alex Karp wrote in a letter to shareholders following the positive earnings release on Monday evening. Karp continued, our overall business generated more than $1 billion in revenue for the second quarter of the year, a stunning 48% increase over the same period the year before, as we reach an annual run rate of more than $4 billion. Palantir's growth accelerated radically as per Karp's letter because of 3 mega trends unfolding: custom AI application demand, data infrastructure investment, and defense tech modernization. Here's that acceleration. Anyway, all these are in the show notes. Again, like I have said before, in alphabetical order, not alphabetical order, in chronological order. Zelensky thanks Trump for back in peace, then praises new $1 billion plus in European funding for U.S. weapons. Says Ukraine is ready to finalize a drone deal with Washington. Calls it, quote, one of the strongest agreements. urges more sanctions against Russia to hurt its economy. We are grateful for POTUS. We are grateful to POTUS for all efforts toward a just and lasting peace. Many months could already pass without war had Russia not been prolonging it. Today, we coordinate our positions, Ukraine and those United States. We exchange assessments of the situations. We already have commitments from the Netherlands, Sweden, Norway, and Denmark over $1 billion for American weapons that Ukraine will receive. Thank you. This cooperation with NATO countries will continue. I could have sworn Trump said there was going to be no more of that. I thought he was going to cut it off, but Jewish New Yorkers occupy a street in front of Trump's hotel, quote, chanting, "Let Gaza live, Jews say no more." Multiple protesters were detained by the NYPD for being anti-Semitic somehow. This guy, though, Israel's Ben Gvir, claims no hunger in Gaza and urges continued starving of Hamas. Far-right minister becomes the latest official to deny starvation in besieged enclave despite widespread documentation and scores of death. If you don't know Ben Gvir, look him up. Not somebody you'd want to come over for Thanksgiving dinner. Democrats go nuclear in redistricting arms race. Top Democrats are speaking and acting in increasingly existential terms over the audacious Trump-backed push to redraw Texas congressional map ahead of the 2026 midterms. Why it matters. The proposed Texas map is designed to meet GOP up to 5 House seats. Net the GOP up to 5 House seats, potentially enough to decide the majority of Trump's Republicans in his final 2 years in office. It's gerrymandering. We get it. Everybody does that. I used to live in Columbia, South Carolina, and literally across the street was James Clyburn's district. On the side of the street I was in was not James Clyburn's district. And his one, it ran like a little Florida, just right down the right side of the road, which was the projects in a sense. Trump threatens new tariffs on India for buying Russian oil. Quote, "They're fueling the war machine." He says he'll hike duties very substantially within 24 hours. Quote, "They have the highest tariff of anybody." India's ex-ambassador to Italy, Mr. Dagra, slams Trump's anti-India pressure. Quote, "India is not the only country that imports oil from Russia." Adds even U.S. still buys Russian uranium. He calls out U.S. double standards and warns, quote, "This will hurt America as much as it may hurt India." Don't let any, What we aren't is consistent. Don't let hypocrisy stand in the way of anybody in politics. So Trump's on top of the wall walking around the White House, and someone goes, "What are you doing? What are you trying to build? What are you doing up there?" And he goes, "Nuclear missiles." He's joking. Hopefully he's joking. Trump trolls reporters with his plans for the White House roof. Now, everyone might go, "Oh, it's RT putting this. It's this." If you look up anything else, they're trying to make the little gesture he had with his hand, the boop thing. They're trying to make that a big thing. Someone took a screenshot of that. What a weird gesture. And somebody's making another one saying that they are building it up there. Seems like he was joking, but he is trying to do the Golden Dome. So maybe there is something that he wants up there. He was looking out over the building project they got going on out there. Border Patrol and ICE agents are arresting U.S. citizens in immigration raids. Capitol and Maine have documented 9 Americans who have been held in federal custody after observing or protesting immigration raids. So now if you protest, you get locked up. Black Hawk pilot launches challenge to battleground House Republican Nick LaLota. Democrat newcomer Chris Gallant is seeking to unseat the 2-term incumbent representing Long Island. And I think he plays for the other team, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Chris Gallant is a Black Hawk pilot, Army vet, National Guardsman, former air traffic controller, and union leader and volunteer firefighter. He's also queer as a $3 bill millennial, political newcomer, and Long Island native. Russia issues nuclear weapons warning, no limits. Russia no longer has any restrictions on deploying previously banned types of conventional and nuclear missiles, the Kremlin said on Tuesday, vowing to take appropriate measures if necessary. And the reason why, if you didn't see that yesterday, Trump got a tweet. Trump saw a tweet by the former president, and then that tweet triggered him to send nuclear subs to Russia. And now Russia's saying nuclear weapons warming, there's no limit. So, over a tweet, we're gonna cause the fire to fall from the sky because somebody's feelings got hurt on a tweet. U.S. economy on precipice of recession. That's understatement of the week. Moody's chief economist warns consumer spending flat, construction, manufacturing, contracting. He says Zandi blames tariffs, immigration policy for economic struggles. Low jobless rate makes shrinking workforce, hiring freezes. Again, Moody's chief analyst Mark Zandi says the U.S. economy is on a precipice of recession, citing indicators from last week's economic data release. Again, 2008, they were talking about stuff like this. 2009, it was, I'm sorry, not 2008. Yeah, I was in 2008. Yeah, the housing shortage. My apologies. 2016, they were talking about this. And in 2017, 2018 comes around. 2019, they're really worried about the economy. Boom, sniffles comes in. Blame the economy on the sniffles. I bring that up because that's coming up here in a second. Trump seems suspiciously open to a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell. The president hasn't ruled one out for the accomplice of his former pal, sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Again, he's going to do that because she's going to not say his name or whatever. There's a deal that's been brought. What they should have done, because they keep saying this is the most transparent group in history, is had her go to Congress and at least speak in there. At least that takes away the whole idea of what did she say and what didn't she say, because no one has a clue what she said. And then if anything comes out, like a video or anything, you're going to question because of AI, there is going to be no confidence. There's never going to be 100% confidence. Whatever is said is not going to, people are going to have questions on afterwards. And especially if she just, hey, we're going to partner her for just setting out some names that we just like. Oh, and weather, some reason this was a big deal in Phoenix. It's 118 degrees, which I think Phoenix gets hot like that anytime, but don't know why they made big time news. Now, when it was 100 like this, South Carolina-ish, eastern coast of North Carolina, a little bit, southeastern side, that would have been big news. But apparently, Phoenix getting hotter in the desert. It's kind of like there's rain in the rainforest in a sense. There's global outbreak fears surge as virus in China prompts quarantines and thousands of new cases are reported. Chinese officials have imposed, like quarantines in parts of the country as cases of chikungunya. You probably get sick trying to say it 5 times. Virus continues to surge. More than 7,000 infections have been reported in the southern city of Fusan in Guangdong province, prompting authorities to isolate patients in hospital wards covered with mosquito tents. They are required to remain there for a week or until they test negative, if sooner. No deaths have been reported yet. The U.S. CDC has issued a level 2 travel advisory for Guangdong province, urging Americans to take extra precautions when visiting the region. So keep an eye on it. Like I said, who knows? It should probably be nothing, but you never know anymore. Experts warn of another global epidemic as virus spreads. Down land in the land down under. Australians, speaking of outdoor prison camps, done with the sniffles, order to surrender machetes or go to prison. The state of Victoria has rolled out machete disposal bins ahead of a ban on the tools and rising violent crime. Fines exceeding $30,000 under a new weapons ban in Victoria. The state's government adopted the measure in an effort reverse a surge of violent crime. Eventually, they're going to ban bow and arrows. Not bow and arrows, slingshots. Ninja swords. I just realized a similar ban on ninja swords was recently induced in the United Kingdom, which was faced comparable criticism for failing to tackle the underlying drivers of rising night violence, such as uncontrolled mitigation. Trump administration, the fast track lunar nuclear reactor. Good night, everybody. I'm done. I forgot about the moon nuclear reactor that we're trying to come up with. With an eye on beating Russia and China to the punch, this is a real story. The Trump administration was about to announce plans to fast track the building of a nuclear fission reactor on the moon. NASA Administrator Sean Puff Daddy, who is also the transportation secretary, just kidding on the Puff Daddy thing, is expected to announce the expedited program this week, according to documents obtained by Politico. To properly advance the critical technology to be able to support a future lunar economy, high power energy generation on Mars, and to strengthen our national security in space. Because, we're getting attacked from the Martians every other week. It's the bombing that the Martians and sometimes the Venetians and Venus do is just mind-boggling. It is imperative the agency move quickly, wrote Duffy in a directed issue Thursday. And in that memorandum, Duffy points to a joint Russian-Chinese plan to build a lunar nuclear reactor of their own. In May, the countries signed a memorandum of cooperation by which they will collaborate and listen, on a reactor to power the planned International Lunar Research Station, ILRS, if you're nasty, and they hope to have it operational by 2036. Led by the Chinese, but part of a collaboration by many other countries, including Venezuela, Belarus, South Africa, Pakistan, Egypt, and Kazakhstan. The facility is intended to conduct scientific research within a 62-mile radius of the lunar South Pole. Other outposts are to follow over the following decades. If China and Russia beat the United States in establishing their stations, they could potentially declare a keep-out zone. You stay out. Was it like a sign or something? Duffy warned. The rival U.S. lunar program is called Artemis. Its first major milestone is supposed to return American astronauts to the moon in 2027, but there's little chance of hitting that target as critical components are still developing. China is working to put an astronaut on the moon by 2030. Drink. Contract is in. Lockheed Martin, figure that. Let's see. Last year, China did retrieving the first soil and rock samples from the far side of the moon, returning to Earth. Nuclear reactor moon, and you're bearish. U.S. announced the. Can we see the Epstein files? Best we can do is imagine a nuclear reactor on the moon. Now, the whole thing with Mars, I drove a guy from the airport, not too far from where I was living in an apartment in far south Denver. And he worked at Lockheed and was talking about the people that were in Lockheed at the time training to go to Mars. And I told him, like, seriously, what you have to do? Pay a lot of people to do this thing? What would you have to sell them on? He goes, actually, it was easy. We had to turn people away. There are literally tons of people on the waiting list and living in these little like pods and like Lockheed training to be able to live on Mars when they ever get that way. It's a crazy town. The death at 280 miles an hour. Chris Rassick lost control of his vehicle while attempting to set a land record speed at Utah's Bonneville Salt Flats. He was given treatment at the scene but died of his injuries. Records Canapache. Can't imagine going 180, much less 280. Today, it's me in jail. Tomorrow, it could be anyone. It's not me who was sentenced today, but Moldova's democracy. Moldova's democracy. This Gutsell, head of Moldova's Gagauzia region, after the unprecedented 7-year sentence today. Beyond the transparent charges, approving silence from Brussels, the bankrupting fine, or the anger of those who voted for her and will never trust Cheshire again. It is the sheer inhumanity of jailing a woman with two children, the youngest of whom is 3, over her politics. One thing is certain: the people who order this will soon enough find themselves behind bars at the very least. Moldovan's MP Bogdan Turdea slams a verdict against Gagazia. I'm destroying this, I know. Gagazia's leader. We were shocked. First time a Bashkan's been convicted. Her family and MPs barred from court. What is this? A drug lord trial? Pablo Escobar probably got less. And by the way, if you put a gun in my head and ask me where that is on a map, I'm assuming it's one of the Russian federations, but I mean, I have no idea. Ontario becomes home to the tallest Hindu god Lord Ram monument in North America, standing at 51 feet tall. This is in Ontario. Man tries to burn down Hagia Sophia's mosque in Istanbul. Luckily, the fire was spotted quickly and was put out. No arrests have been made yet. Maui, there's another fire. Maui Emergency Management Agency warns public of out-of-control brush fire burning dangerously close to homes in Kanapala area. Evacuation orders expanding. A lot of folks. Jason Bassler is talking. I look at him a lot because of technocracy and the Palantir thing. I focus a lot on the Palantir world order, and for good reason. But they're not the only ones cashing in on the rise of techno-fascist surveillance state. Palmer's Lucky's and Durrell has billion-dollar contracts with 7 U.S. agencies. It's not a conspiracy; it's a business model. There's more of Jason. Flock plus Palantir, a private surveillance loop. Numerous law enforcement agencies using Flock's license plate readers pair them with Palantir's Gotham software, which is not good, by the way. It's widely believed, but not confirmed, that Palantir can pull from Flock data when agencies use both platforms. Palantir is built to ingest any data set: license plates, 911 calls, utility bills, financial records. Now connect the dots. Flock scans your car. Palantir links it to your digital footprint. Flock provides the eyes. Palantir provides the brain. Trump's big, beautiful bill pumps billions into AI analytics, real-time tracking, biometrics, and predictive policing, accelerating the rise of both Flock and Palantir systems. Remember, these are private companies. No transparency laws, no oversight. This is surveillance for crimes you committed. It's prediction. You're not a suspect. You're a data point in a threat forecast. The cameras are watching. The algorithm never sleeps. Welcome to the age of pre-crime. Flock Safety is expanding its surveillance network into schools in partnership with a company serving 60,000 campuses. No parental consent, no student vote, just a normalization of surveillance at bus stops, parking lots, and outside classrooms. Your child, their data. I could have sworn I had something else, but I guess I don't. Anyways, God love you. I know this was thankfully shorter than the 30 minutes I try to get to. Check it out. Everything's underneath in the show notes in case you think I'm a quack or anything. Look it up underneath. Call me a quack. That's all right. That's a comment. Put a comment underneath. You're a quack. I'm fine with that. Anyways, like, subscribe, comment. Hit the bell for notification for everything Sensitive Fidelity related. Trying to beat that algorithm, obviously. Trying to get back in the closet, getting the views back up. It's sinking like a rock right now. Oh, that was it. I don't know why it did it. Why it did. There was a big another. There's been a couple more flash floods. This one was in India. Gigantic flash flood out there. There's like 3 that I saw. 2 earthquakes. One in New York City is a 2.7, which nothing. Another one was in Iran. I think that was a 5.8. So the ground's been shaking for the last couple of days. Anyways, God love you. Have a great rest of the day. Talk to you tomorrow. And as always, keep the faith.